I read something in my reading earlier this morning, and this is what it said. It said there's three type of relationships. It said there's a disassociations, and those are the people you need to let go of. It said there's limited associations, people you see occasionally, but with boundaries. And it said expanded associations, people who stretch and challenge you. Audit your circle, and then adjust accordingly. And so if you feel like the people in your life and the friends in your life right now that you're connected to are only around and they continue to pour from you, but they never pour to you, all right? They take from you, but they never give to you. They embrace your love, but they never give you love. Maybe those one of those people that you either need to disassociate from completely or to start having those boundaries with. To let them know that I'm always going to love you. I'm always going to be there for you. I'm always going to care for you if you really, really need me. But I can't be at your disposal and just give you this easy access to me all the time anymore, because every time I seem to go out on a limb for you when I need it back in return, you know where to be found.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Quite literally, Will Tidwell, a younger gentleman.
I wish I didn't have this big heart. People just do nothing but hurt me. Anybody can dream the dream. Anybody can have a goal, but see,
you're gonna be a neighborhood hero. You just keep shining, young king.
And one thing I learned is that when it comes to healing, it's like a never-ending process. Healing is gonna be this thing that we be doing for the rest of our life, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because it feels like as soon as you deal with one situation and you walk away from it and you finally start to make peace with it, whatever it is, relationship, life, business, a falling out, man, losing the love of your life, whatever it is, it feels like almost every single time, bro, when you finally start to make some traction and you finally start to feeling like yourself again and you finally start to like get over the hump of whatever it is that you was dealing with. Like here's something else comes to hurt you, to open up another wound that you thought you had closed. And so I laugh, not in a mean way, but I laugh in a way to say when people talk about healing, they think it's gonna be this thing you just arrive at and all of a sudden you feel better. But you're gonna be healing for something for the rest of your life. But when you say how do you get over certain things in your life, right? Whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, whether it's it ain't. And that's the crazy thing about it, D. It ain't that easy. It ain't easy at all, man. Some people that never admit it, but it takes some people years to get over shit that hurt them. Some people go their whole life still hurting. You know what I'm saying? And some people are just really, really, really good at hiding it. Some people are just really, really good at smiling through the pain and living through the pain and existing through the pain and still taking care of their kids through the pain and still showing up for work through the pain and still cook, you know what I'm saying? Like still making meals for their family through the pain and still showing up for their loved ones through the pain. Like some people are just really good at that. And then you got some people that struggle with it so bad they think that the result of taking their own life is the option. Some people think that shutting down and being depressed and doing nothing is the option. You know what I'm saying? Some people just deal with that shit differently, man. Some people wear it really good and you'll never know. And some people crash out and fall apart and we never even saw the signs. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about how do we heal, I think it's first giving yourself enough patience and kindness to understand that, man, this shit might take me a while. This might take me some time. And you can easily say something like, distract yourself with some healthy things. And true enough, you could. And you should. I think the more that you try to eliminate those feelings and those thoughts from your brain, whether it's, like you said, finding a new healthy hobby, whether it's starting to connect with some new people outside of your norm, whether it's starting to do some things you've never done before, you slowly start to see that your mind stops going to that place. But this is the part when you talk about healing, because a lot of times we think we healed. We got the distractions. We got the things going that's making us feel better. But then you get that reminder of them or that reminder of the situation. And then you fall right back into that hurt and that pain and that cycle that you had just got of. And you're like, damn. And it's funny, man. A lot of times we think we healed and we think we happy and we think we whole again until we get that reminder. And it seems to like almost break us apart all over again. You know what I'm saying? So be patient with yourself, D. You know, I don't got there's no fix it for this. And the sooner you admit that, you know what, I'm not okay, that fucked me up going through what I went through, the sooner you can learn to deal with it. And I hope you're not walking around here holding grudges and hating people and being spiteful towards people and mean towards people, because you'll never get over it that way. I think sometimes we got to just sit in that pain, admit that pain, walk through that pain, live through that pain, and hopefully one day we can look up when we do get the reminders of them and get that, you know, reminiscent feeling towards whatever it is that hurt us. Hopefully the pain starts to ease a little bit. Hopefully it starts to subside for you, and you don't have to go through the rest of your life feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not something I want for you ever. Something I'm sure is, but I'm not mean though. I know you're not mean. I know you're not mean. You're just trying to get over whatever it is that you're dealing with. And I know you will, but it ain't easy. It ain't easy at all, man. I will speak to that part where you talk about just feeling uninterested. I think we all go through a season of our life where we just want to disassociate from everything. We want to be detached from everything. Like we go through this season in our life where it's like, you know what? For once in my life, I want to finally just focus on me. I don't care to get to know anybody else because I'm trying to figure out and get to know myself. I don't care to try to fall in love with anybody else because you know what? I just want to fall in love with myself. You know what? I don't want to date anybody else because for once in my life, I want to do something nice and date myself. I think we go through seasons like that where we start to feel like we've been focusing so much on other people and giving so much to other people and making everybody else the center of our universe. But then you start to realize, like, damn, but I haven't done that for me. And maybe if I took more time to do those things for me, I could figure out more about myself and understand a little bit more of what it is I want and would like in my life and a person and a partner. Now, maybe you won't have all the answers from that season of singleness and season of loneliness. All right, I've talked about this before. We all need a season of our life where it's just us, where we don't got to worry about nobody else. We don't got to be responsible for nobody else's happiness. We don't got to be responsible for nobody else's the things that make them feel good and the things that make them happy. Like, I can just be me, and I'm the only thing that matters. So maybe the reason why you're feeling uninterested when it comes to the opposite sex and you're not really too worried about dating and being with nobody else right now is because you finally realizing, you know what, maybe I need me for a while. But I guarantee when you come out of that season and you start, you know, finding somebody that's worth your time and that you're interested in, you might look up and say, yeah, I needed that time of clarity and loneliness and singleness. Because now when I connect with the next young man, I know exactly what I want. Because I've learned to love myself and connect with myself in such a way where I'm not settling for anything less than that. And if you're not willing to at least try to live up to some of these standards, right? And at least see where I'm coming from when I talk to you about how I want to be treated and how I want to be loved and how I would love to be respected and courted. If you can at least understand that and try your best to live up to that, right? I know it's not going to be perfect, but if you can understand what it is that I discovered about myself in my season of loneliness and singleness and respect that and embrace that about me, then you're not the man for me. And I think it's going to start to be so much easier for you too, Bree, to disassociate from certain people that's not anywhere near what it is that you found out about yourself. So maybe, just maybe, you just need that moment. Maybe you just need that time to say, you know what, I'm to myself right now. Hey, thank y'all so much for the gifts, man. I really appreciate it. I really do. And the hardest part I think about being to ourselves is how lonely it gets. Like I said, season of loneliness. It's so fucking boring, right? It seems so mundane sometimes. Being to yourself all the time, right? Sometimes I think the only reason we want to connect to certain people and date and do all this shit in the first place is because we're afraid to be alone. We don't know how to be alone. We don't know how to stay to ourselves. We don't know how to enjoy our own company. We don't know how to do those things. So we think that we can find happiness and peace in other people until we realize that no matter who I bring into my life, they can't give me that happiness and that peace either. Because what I'm searching for, only I can find, only I can give myself. Now you can add to this peace and this happiness. But if expecting you to be my whole peace and happiness, man, that should have never happened. I read something in my reading earlier this morning, and this is what it said. It said there's three types of relationships. It said there's a disassociations, and those are the people you need to let go of. It said there's limited associations, people you see occasionally, but with boundaries. And it said expanded associations, people who stretch and challenge you. Audit your circle, and then adjust accordingly. And so if you feel like the people in your life and the friends in your life right now that you're connected to are only around and they continue to pour from you, but they never pour to you, all right? They take from you, but they never give to you. They embrace your love, but they never give you love. Maybe those one of those people that you either need to disassociate from completely or to start having those boundaries with. To let them know that I'm always going to love you. I'm always going to be there for you. I'm always going to care for you if you really, really need me. But I can't be at your disposal and just give you this easy access to me all the time anymore, because every time I seem to go out on a limb for you, when I need it back in return, you know where to be found. And so as hard as it may be for you, Gloria, you might have to look up and say, I got to set some boundaries with you. I got to love you a little bit differently than what I've been used to doing, because it seems like every time I try to go all in for you, I empty myself out for you. And then when I'm empty and I'm drained and I'm tired and I ain't got nothing left, I call you and I look to you to replenish me and help me the way that I so willingly helped you. But you won't do it. And so, Gloria, I think you know what you need to do. You know, limiting your access to them or limiting how much access you give to them. But it's hard for you because you love them. It's hard for you because maybe they've been in your life since the beginning. Maybe you think it's not that big of a deal that they don't give for you the way you give to them. But then you start realizing how big of a deal is when you fucking tired and you exhausted and you drained, and then you finally you build up enough courage to be vulnerable enough to ask for help. But nobody comes. And then when you lonely and you tired and you drained and all you got is you start sit back and you start thinking like, but damn, every time they call me, I came running. I put my own immediate people on the back burner for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what really gets you, is when you're like, I put other priorities on the back burner for you. But you telling me you can't do the same for me? That'll fuck your head up. That'll fuck your head up when you start becoming connected to people that you realize will never do some of the same things for you that you do for them. That'll hurt your heart. Because you end up realizing that it end up being people sometimes that you never expected to be. And it hurts. It hurts, man. It hurts. And so, Gloria, I think you got to make a choice. Am I going to limit how much I associate with them? Set that boundary? And start to let them kind of feel some of that, what they give to you, not in a petty way. Yeah, what does it mean how do you deal with people not supporting your dream? How do you deal with people that you really love and that you really care about, people that you really rock with, family, friends, close loved ones that just don't support it, that don't get it, that don't see what it is that you see. They can't quite comprehend what it is that you're trying to do. How do you deal with that? You know, one of the best analogies I always use, and I'm gonna keep using it. If you go through my content enough, you'll see this analogy that I've used before. One of the most frustrating things to do in this life is to try to share a dream with somebody that just can't quite see what it is that you see. Think about it like a real dream. Think about that, man. When you're resting and you sleep, and your eyes are closed, and you in that deep REM sleep, right? Something I notice about dreams is that no matter how detailed you are with a dream, no matter how vivid you are, no matter how well you break down the dream, no matter how well you try to explain to them what you saw and what you felt and how it made you feel and what you went through in the dream and what you felt in the dream, no matter how deep you get. If that motherfucker that you explained in the dream to was not there, and they ain't feeling what you feel, and they ain't seeing what you seeing, and they don't get excited about it the way you get excited about it, and they can't quite comprehend what you comprehend from it, then no matter how well you break down the dream to them, if they don't have some sort of blind faith in you and take your word for it, then that was never the person you were supposed to share your dream with anyway. Because to be honest with you, no matter how well you break it down to them, and no matter how well you show them the plan, and no matter how many business plans you put together, no matter how many proposals you put together, no matter how bulletproof the plan is, if a motherfucker don't want to see the vision, they'll never see it. And all you gonna end up doing is frustrating yourself trying to get a motherfucker to see something that they just can't. They don't want to open their eyes and see. Because it was never their dream to see in the first place. All you ever needed around you was people that could see your dream, but they just took your word for it and they believed in it because it was you. They was excited to see you excited about something in your life. And whatever it is you asked them to do in order to help make that dream come to reality, they was willing to do that for you. And if they ain't giving you that energy, if they ain't giving you that type of love, if they ain't giving you that type of support, then how do you deal with people like that? You stop sharing them. You stop sharing dreams with them. They just can't seem to comprehend. But see, the sad part about it is that as soon as you stop sharing the dream with them and you stop trying to share the vision with them of what it is that you're trying to do with your life, it's like you almost end up having to remove certain people from your picture and from your vision that you thought was going to be a part of the dream. And that's the most hurtful part. I had a vision in my head where you was going to be a part of what it is that I'm building right here. You was going to be a part of what I envisioned when I was laying in my bed at night, or when I was sitting at that desk late at night, busting my ass working. You was supposed to be a part of this. But the fact that you can't understand it, you can't comprehend it, you're not even trying to understand it, you don't care to understand it or support it, now you might have to be on the outside looking in when you were supposed to be right here with me. And you know the sad part about that, bro, is when you start distancing yourself from people that don't believe and don't see the vision and don't have that almost like blind faith in you. Because to be honest with you, when a person does believe in you wholeheartedly and support you wholeheartedly, that's really what they got in you is blind faith. They have no idea if the shit you finna do is finna work. They might believe in you and know that you're capable of making it happen, but they have no idea. They just got blind faith enough to say, I got your back. And if a motherfucker can't do that for you, then did you really need them in your life to begin with? Because they don't understand you operating off that same type of blind faith. You don't know what God finna do. You praying and you hoping that God come through, but anything could happen. He might delay what it is that you originally wanted because he had something totally different for you. He had something totally better for you. Or he was just taking you down a different path to get you to the same result. You have no idea. And I ain't saying we God or nothing. But if you can't give me that same energy, right? And just believing enough at face value of what it is that I'm telling you that I'm going to do with my life and with my business or my brand or my career or whatever the fuck it is. Then how do you deal with those people? Maybe that's one of those people that you also got to love from a distance. Maybe that's one of those people that you also got to disassociate yourself with. Maybe that's one of those people that you got to start being a little more protected and guarded with your dreams and stop giving it to them all the time. Stop telling them about what it is that you want to do with your life. Because every time you talk to them about what it is and they shoot down what you said or they dismiss your dream and your goal, now you starting to have doubts about it. Now you starting to question if it's really possible. You dig what I'm saying? Don't you notice every time you talk to that certain person in your life, you start to get depressed? Don't you notice every time you talk to that person, now you got fears that you didn't have before? Maybe it's because you sharing something so sacred like your dreams and your goals with a person that just don't cherish them like you do. And the sooner you stop doing that, you start realizing, like, damn, my dream and my goal really is possible. I was just sharing it with the wrong small-minded people. That's half of the battle. Think about how many visions and dreams and goals never got accomplished because motherfuckers had motherfuckers in their life that told them they couldn't do it, and they was dumb enough to believe it. But also think about how many motherfuckers had the same people in their life tell them that they couldn't do it, and they used it for every reason to believe that they could. So I think it really comes down to making a decision of which person are you going to be. So how do you deal with them? You stop sharing something so sacred with them, like your dreams and your goals, because clearly they're too small-minded to even comprehend and understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish. That's how you deal with those people. What season of your life, Z, taught you the most? It's so funny. This season of my life where there was this season of my life where I felt like I didn't have much, financially. I just not being where I want to be in my life. Wondering how certain things were going to be taken care of in my life. Like nervous for real. I think we all have been through those seasons. A lot of us are going through them right now. Questioning how we're going to pay certain things and how we're going to do certain things and how we're going to take the vacations, how we're going to do this certain stuff for our kids and all the shit, man. Just wondering. Worried, scared for real. And I think if anything, going through that certain season that's in my head in particular right now, what it's taught me for real is that even in those seasons and those times in your life where you don't feel like you got enough, if you can just find a way to keep believing in spite of that, you'll look back and realize, damn, even in those moments when I didn't feel like I had enough, God always seemed to make a way for me. God was always so good to me. Yeah, I had to do some work too. I had to get off my ass and make it happen too. Yeah, I had to keep going even in the midst of feeling the way I was feeling. True. But damn, God always made a way. He always led me to the opportunity. He always put me in the right space to receive what it is I needed to receive. He always put me in the right place to get the resources I need, even when I didn't know I needed them. He always put me in the right place to get that word that I needed to keep me going and pick me up when I was really fucked up mentally. And so if anything taught me something in a season of my life, it's probably going to be remembering that even in those seasons where I felt like nothing. Because for a man in particular, right, when you're not right financially and you're not right able to just provide the way you want to provide for real, that'll have you questioning your whole existence. Like that'll really fuck with a man mentally, right? Like you can't even get turned on sexually with your girl or with a woman when you fucked up financially for real, unless you just it's a lot of dudes that don't give a fuck about that. But if you're a real man that's used to standing on your business and handling your business, you get ED when you can't take care of your responsibilities for real. And so if anything I've learned is that even in those seasons where I felt like I had nothing, where I felt like I was fucked up, when I wasn't sure how I was going to make it and take care of certain responsibilities and pay certain things and make sure the people in my life were straight for real, man, God always seemed to make a way. And so next time I think it's key for you also in your life, man, the next time you feel like you without and you feel like you may be lacking something right now and you may feel like, you know what, I'm not where I want to be in my life. That's true enough. It's okay to feel that way. That's life. None of us are a lot of times satisfied with where we are in our life. But if you really look back and just think about it, like just sit back and think, hasn't God been so good to you though? Even though you're not where you want to be, are you anywhere near where you used to be? Don't you realize how far you've come? Like, don't you realize how much shit that you've overcome in your life, bro? Shit that you thought was finna kill you. Shit that would have killed most people. And look at you, man. You still standing. Now you financially thriving. Or maybe you still are struggling. But you still waking up every day with a chance to keep figuring it out. And even though you may not be where you want to be, are you really going without anything? Nah, God somehow keep making a way to pay them bills. He keep making sure you got a roof over your head, even if it ain't your roof. He keep making sure you got a meal, even if it ain't food you bought. You blessed. And I think sometimes we just get so caught up with the highs and lows and the loudness of life that we forget that, man. So if anything, a season of my life has taught me is that even in my seasons of not having very much, man, I had everything I ever needed. I just had to, to be honest with you, change the way I was looking at it. Ty, you said, is that your question? You said somebody was cheating on you for 7 months? Damn, bro. Talk to me about that. What's your question? Talk to me about that. What's your question from that? Yeah, 7 months is wild, bro. How did you find out about that, Ty? How did you find out you was being cheated on? And like, do you have a question for me? You said, should I let her go or attempt to reconnect? If I'm gonna be honest with you, man, I done been on the wrong side of that too. Where I made a mistake, to a very, very special woman in my life. You know what I'm saying? And we was able to figure it out. But I think you got to ask yourself a couple of questions before you just decide to take this person back. Well, number one, do you really love them and do they really love you? Was this a one-time thing, or is this a reoccurring habit that they have? Are you able to truly forgive them, or are you going to be holding on to that grudge so hard to where you could never love them the same? Because I think that if you have a grudge in this situation with them, it's going to be really, really hard to have a healthy relationship. Because every time you look around, that thought going to be in the back of your head, or you're going to find yourself still being petty. You're going to find yourself being spiteful. You know what I'm saying? Who wants to be in anything like that? If you got to do all of that and have it be in this toxic environment, you might as well move on. You know what I'm saying? And so I think you got to answer those couple of questions if you're talking about staying with a person that's cheated on you for multiple months or cheated on you, period. Can we move past this? Can I see myself eventually being happy, healthy, and whole with this person and moving past how they made me feel? Can I openly talk to this person about how they made me feel and they receive it in such a way to where they want to be better and they want to improve on the mistake that they made and not let it happen again? Am I able to express to them how it made me feel and they receive it and respect it and help me understand why they felt like they needed to do it in the first place? Because a lot of times there is a reason why people cheat. It might not necessarily be you, but there's a reason. Then again, it might be something they felt like you weren't doing enough of or weren't doing well or weren't, you know what I'm saying? And then also sometimes we got to be willing to say, all right, what can I do better? What can I do to improve on that? Because that's a lot of times of what we don't want to do. We think that motherfuckers are just being grimy towards us, but maybe something has been missing in that relationship between y'all for 7 months. And I'm not saying it is, Ty, right? I'm not pointing a finger at you. But maybe they feel like something has been missing for 7 months between y'all. And maybe they challenge you to do something a little bit better to where they can feel a little bit better loved or they can feel a little bit better whole or whatever the case may be. You dig what I'm saying? And then, man, you'll look up and realize if I do my part and she does my part, then we don't really got to worry about that. But again, if a motherfucker out here just cheating to be cheating and they just want to just get their rocks off, be careful with that shit, man. Because then it turns into this toxic situation, and now you in something that you didn't even want to be in when all you really wanted was love. You feel what I'm saying? So hopefully that answered your question, bro. I don't want to ramble on that too long or have your business all out there. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully that made sense what I'm talking about when you talk about somebody cheating on you like that. Because I know that ain't no easy thing to deal with, especially when, I know that ain't when y'all been together probably for a long time. I mean, how do you personally give yourself grace? Because we often think that some other people in our life are harder on us than we are on ourselves. But a lot of motherfuckers don't even understand, man. We sometimes are our biggest critics. You don't gotta beat me up because I'm already beating myself up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't gotta make me feel worse than I already do about whatever it is that I'm being a critic on myself about, right? Or that I'm being critical of myself about. I'm already doing that. And so when you talk about how do you give yourself grace, and remember, it's really coming to remember, like, as much as sometimes I feel like a superhuman and I feel like I can do it all and I feel like I can take care of everybody else and I feel like I wear all of this baggage on me so well and nobody ever knows what I'm going through and I'm so strong and I'm known as the strong one, even though I'm known as all that and people see me as all of that. It's literally just sitting there and remembering, man, I'm human too. I struggle with shit too. I'm imperfect too. And there's some days in your life where I just ain't got it. I want to help you. I want to do what I can for you. Right? I wish I could have done more. I wish I didn't fall short. I wish I didn't make the mistake, whatever. But shit, I'm human too. So you're talking about how do you start giving yourself that grace? It's literally, I think, sometimes just remembering that, bro. And you know what? I want more people around me that are willing to show me their imperfections. I want more people around me that are willing to show me their human moments. I want more people around me that aren't trying to put on this facade of perfection, because that's a lot of times what really eats us up. We know that we human. We know that we make mistakes. We know that that's a part of life. And my guy right here said a great point. Lean on God, not the world, for understanding. Absolutely. But I want more people around me in my day-to-day life that aren't afraid to show me their wounds and the scars. Right now, obviously, you can't show everybody that stuff. But I think that is something that really, really helps when it comes to giving yourself grace, is realizing, oh, this motherfucker that I thought was invincible, this motherfucker that I never see struggling, that I never see going through nothing, they human too. They deal with stuff too. They struggle too. And I think that when we see that, you have no choice but to give yourself grace, because you're saying that if this motherfucker can deal with this and struggle and have a hard time, then should I allow myself to make some mistakes too? Because I think that's what really fucks with us and gets in our head, is that we connected to all of these different people, or we see all of these different things online where it's like all we see is perfection. All we see is motherfuckers winning. All we see is motherfuckers making millions of dollars. All we see is motherfuckers taking trips. But you don't even know that this motherfucker went on this trip with their firm and they're paying this off month to month. Right? You seeing these motherfuckers making millions of dollars, but you don't even know that this nigga scamming. You seeing this motherfucker you know what I'm saying? Like, we seeing all of these different things and we like comparing ourselves to it. But you have no idea what all they had to do in order to get that. And so when you talk about how do I give myself more grace, I think number one is surround around yourself people that aren't afraid to show you imperfection. Because we need that. We need that. Because if we can see that, we straight. And Amanda said, I can't tell if you're joking or being rude, talking to that guy. I don't know either. I'm letting him rock out right now, but I'm gonna block his ass in a minute. You keep on. You know what I'm saying? I'll block his goofy ass in just a second. And we have to give ourselves grace. But it's easier said than done, especially in the moment when you're going through what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? It's real hard. It's really, really hard to give yourself grace, man, because um, we just want everything to go right. You know, it's hard to be patient with yourself. Uh, and ain't that funny, man? A lot of times we so patient with everybody else. We so understanding of everybody else. We so quick to give everybody else a pass and give everybody else grace. But why do we struggle to do it with ourselves? Why are we so quick to beat ourselves up? But you just gave this motherfucker a pass. You don't think you deserve one? You just let this motherfucker off the hook, but you beating yourself up for a month straight. You know what I'm saying? And also, I think when we stop looking at everything as a loss and pain and hurt and actually come out of that pain and sit down and say, you know what? This is what I learned from this situation, X, Y, and Z. This is what I feel like this situation taught me from going through this. This is what I extracted from all of that pain that I just went through. I think it starts to kind of make you also appreciate those moments where we need grace for ourselves. And it's so much easier to give yourself that grace because you say it wasn't necessarily a waste of an experience. Because now I can look back and always have this lesson to pull from and to learn from. So the next time I'm presented with this obstacle or this thing in my life, shit, I'm straight. I know what not to do. But a lot of y'all out there, man, are beating yourself up over something that was out of your control. Or beating yourself over something that you can't do nothing else about right now. Or ever. And the scary part about that is that you're exerting so much energy, holding this grudge against yourself where you can't even focus on the new shit and the new blessings that God is trying to give you because you're so busy holding on to things that you were supposed to let go of so long ago. God is trying to bless you with something new. He's trying to give you a new opportunity to make it right. He's trying to give you a new chance to redeem yourself almost. He's trying to give you a second chance to do it differently this time and use the lessons from what you learned the first time. But you can't even receive the blessings. You can't even receive the opportunity. You can't even receive the chance because you're beating yourself up. And give yourself some grace, man. Give yourself some grace. You deserve it. And if you can so willingly give it to everybody else, then why can't you give some of it to yourself too? You feel me?
Hey, what's up? This is Will Z Tidwell with SpeakUPZee. And I just want to take a quick second just to thank you for tuning in to this latest episode of SpeakUPZee the podcast. And my only goal with this platform is to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you around all things life, business, and mental health, whether it's myself or me bringing on a special guest. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. We don't ask for any type of monetary gains or anything like that. The best thing you could do for us is just like and subscribe to the channel. Until next week, we'll see y'all later. Peace.